The 2023 BMW X3 sDrive 30i Tanzanite Blue Metallic. We're going to be going over what's new, why this is going to slot in for great performance going against rivals like your Audi Q5, your Volvo XC60, Genesis GV70. Which one's going to be better in towing, interior space, cargo, and the drive? I'm Anthony from Hawkeye Rides. I'm going to go over all the specs and details starting now. The new BMW X3 sDrive 30i starts with your smoke gray aluminum active kidney grille shutter that pushes into your long traditional hood with LED headlamps and daytime running. On the lower, you'll get the gloss black that's going to be for your side curtain, and on the whole lower trim, your front parking sensors. The front fenders flare out, encasing these 19-inch M bi-colored wheels with the disc reading behind it at 13.7 inches, the rear at 13.5, standard suspension setup, and you receive 7.2 inches of clearance, so you can tackle pretty much everything. When you're looking at it at rival perspective, this is going to be better than the XC40, then your Genesis. A weight distribution at 48.6, 51.4. You get the gloss black and that satin aluminum for your air vent. The side curtain bulges out. The longest in the class at 185.9 inches, a wheelbase at 112.8 inches. But the difference between this and the rivals, you're going to have a more traditional setup. It's going to be raised up for the clearance, and you'll have an aggressive fascia and on the exit with LED tail lamps, best in class for towing. It's going to be better than Volvo and the Genesis. It's going to be the same as the Audi, 4,400 pounds. I do like that we have dual exhaust outlets, because even though this is just a rear wheel drive, it's not the xDrive, which would be four wheel, it still looks super aggressive in the rear. Power lift gate going inside to 28.7 cubic feet. You have a storage cover here, storage on the side with your 12-volt charger. Underneath, you're going to have a little bit of storage capacity and then a large pocket right underneath there. The rear bench split folds at a 40-20-40 split. Max it cargo to 62.7 cubic feet. Even though this is not the most powerful variant, you can even go up to the M40i, which has over 380 horsepower, or even the full-blown M. Put the competition, you have over 500 horsepower. It still has that twin-power turbo. Let's go inside, start it up, so you can hear that exhaust note. The BMW X3 sDrive 30i is a vehicle that's more of your practical everyday use. So you're going to get better gas consumption. The 0 to 60 numbers are not going to be the fastest. However, if you want that, like I was just saying, you can go up to the M40i or even the full M. Add the competition package, you'll have over 500 horsepower. So the capabilities of what this vehicle is insane, especially if you option up to the true M. It's right at a 50-50 weight distribution. This one backs the performance. The 2.0-liter BMW twin power turbo inline 4-cylinder, producing 248 horsepower and 258 pound-feet of torque. That's paired to an 8-speed sport automatic transmission, achieving 23 to 29 mpgs. That's good for a 0 to 60 at 6 seconds. It's not going to be the fastest. However, it's going to be faster than your Volvo XC60. It's going to be right around the same speed as the Genesis GV70, a quarter mile, just a hair under 15 seconds. You're not looking for full-blown performance, but the nice thing about what BMW offers you is you still get that in the ride, which you're going to see in the drive. Let me know in the comments what you think about the 2023 BMW X3 sDrive 30i. As we go into the interior, go over the tech, and take this for our test run. Inside the BMW X3 sDrive 30i at 41.1 inches of headroom, 40.3 inches of legroom. The driver focus M Sport steering wheel multi-function with the flat paddle shifters. 12.3 digital gauge cluster, and you can go through an array of information here. You can also change from Sport, Comfort to Eco, and it will change the whole design layout. Or you can hit the BC button right here, and it'll change the pound-feet of torque and horsepower that's stationed right here. You'll see your G-force. You can change for your radio, and then the dash will be more of a simple layout, very clean, matte black around all of your air vents, and you get the aluminum inlay look that's going to be around the satin aluminum here with your 10.3 infotainment screen. It does have the pinch and the swipe. Click onto that home button, and you can see all the apps: Apple CarPlay, Android Auto, Sirius XM, AM, FM, streaming, Bluetooth audio. Put it into reverse. We have a reverse camera with trajectory, front and rear parking sensors. Click right here so you can change any of your settings. Underneath, with your dual climate control settings, heated ventilated seat button right here. X3 badging, open that up. You got your cup holders. A 16.9 ounce will fit without any issues. You have a USB and a storage pocket here. Working down, you'll have the gloss black that's going with that satin aluminum, your iDrive 7, and I do like how it's nice and polished. Softer for your elbows. Open up inside. It is a pretty deep storage with a USB port and a little storage right there. Going to the door panel, you'll get that aluminum inlays, memory for the driver, X badging right there, one touch up and down for the windows. Going to be soft with the contrast stitching, and the storage pocket is large with your M badging. 12-way power adjustments, Vernesca black with manual cushion extensions, heated, ventilated, and I do like the stitch work because it keeps it nice and sporty. For the back seats, I'm at 41.1 inches of headroom, 36.4 inches of leg room. At 6'3", I have a sufficient amount of space. The door panel gets the X badging. You get the ambient lighting with that aluminum around it. Soft for your elbows with the contrast stitching, one touch up and down. The storage pocket is pretty large, and to adjust the seat back and forth. So you do sit inwards a little bit. It's not the widest vehicle. 2 USB-C ports, a storage pocket here, your third climate control with your air vents and the gloss black. Storage behind both of the front seats. Sitting into the center, your headroom is still not an issue. Leg space is going to be shared with your feet space because the floor is not completely flat. Taking the 2023 BMW X3 sDrive 30i out. We have it in sport mode. We're going to see that 0 to 60 at 6 seconds. Here we go. And your brakes. The nice thing about BMW, and I stress it a lot, is the weight distribution is so close to 50-50 that it makes it even more pleasurable. So if you option the sDrive instead of the xDrive, you can still do some corners, and I mean, look at the maneuverability. No issues with that at all. And because of the way the hood is, you know where the front bumpers are as well. You could stop on a dime, safety's there, and if you need to really give it a go, you can do so. And that's when you're at a $44,000 to $45,000 MSRP. This one's going to be more in the mid-50s. You really want to be able to still get the drive because we got all the luxury that's encased inside. Yes, it's going to be slower than the Audi Q5. This is also going to be longer than the Audi Q5, but you're not really concerned about full-blown performance when you're on the sDrive trim. That's why it is a plus that you still get that with all the options, and you get the M Sport package, which just makes this thing stand out of class because you got the steering wheel, we got the wheels. I would have liked to see the M brake calipers only because it looks a little bit more sporty. You don't really need additional pistons or anything to grab because you're not going to be taking this on the track. Now there is 3 things I like and 3 things that I dislike. Is anything more than that, I'd be buying this sDrive. Starting off with this towing capacity at 4,400 pounds. This is a small engine, and the fact that you can do that in this class is amazing because Volvo doesn't even do it, nor does Genesis. This is just a hair under 4,300 pound curb weight, and that's a lot of moving considering the size of the engine. The second thing that I like about the vehicle is you can still option all of these features to make it as sport derived if you want. As long as you don't care for that performance, I mean, you'll save $2,000 instead of going to the xDrive for the 4-wheel drive. And then if you want to really option it up, you can go into the M40i, which is amazing, over 380 horsepower. But if you're wanting something that's more of a gas sipper and you still want that style, you can do that with the sDrive. The last thing that I like about the vehicle is the exterior styling with the gloss black on the lower areas and the satin silver that's pretty much encased everywhere else. It makes the vehicle stand out and also keeps it looking youthful instead of older, in the sense of when the car gets 5 or 6 years old, you want it to still look like a brand new car. The disadvantage is in the interior, they don't really add the gloss black that much. Only here in the center, which I get it, you're gonna have fingerprints all over the place. However, it would be nice to have a little bit maybe on the side air vent, so it would have that sporty Q in the front. The second thing that I dislike goes into the center here where your gear lever is in your iDrive, because it's just a matte black. If they would have put this pattern, this aluminum look right there, I think it would give it that sporty touch, especially because of the price point that we're at. The last thing that I dislike is when you want to recline or put the seats flat for the rear bench, they don't have a lever in the back. You have to go to a different tier vehicle. When you go to the Audi, you can fold down the rear seats in the trunk, so it makes it a little bit easier in the sense of if you need to get something quick and it needs to have the length, just pull the levers. Here you have to actually go outside from the tailgate area and then go into the back doors and put the seats down flat. Obviously this is a little bit of nitpicking. It's just some things that they could have cleaned up when they did the refresh. Going back to the rival perspective, the Q5 will be the fastest. Towing will be the same as Audi with the BMW. Volvo and Genesis will be the least in class. Interior space, you have more leg space in this compared to Genesis GV70 and the Volvo XC60. Another big difference would be in the storage cubbies on the side. The Volvo XC60 feels a little short in the back, where this one actually gains more cargo capacity. This also has a good amount of charging ports. When you're looking at rival perspective, you're starting to have to pay for all these extras. It doesn't have a wireless charging pad, which is something at this price tier I would like to see. It is a great vehicle as it sets, performance driven. It's going to have a little bit more of a sport drive to it, but the visibility in the front is great. You have blind spot monitoring, lane keep assist. It's not that long of a vehicle, even though it's the longest in class comparing to the rivals, but it still can get the job done, and the windows are large, so you don't have to worry in that. I like to thank BMW of Wesley Chapel for giving us this 2023 BMW X3 sDrive 30i for our car review. If you're already a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Hawkeye community. If not, what are you waiting for? Click the next video, the subscribe button, check out the merchandise, details, and website, and everything we do here at Hawkeye Rides.